Alright folks, welcome back to another Hickory Hacker course vlog. Today I'm playing Spring Valley Country Club in Salem, Wisconsin. I grew up in Wisconsin and never knew about this golf course when I was learning how to play golf, but glad I found it now through Brad Carando, who's my playing partner today. Spring Valley was designed in 1926 by the underrated Golden Age team of William Langford and Theodore Moreau. I'll get into their unique design characteristics over the course of this round. Using my primary set for this round, which include 2 replica woods from Louisville Golf, 5 authentic irons, and my trusty RTJ putter by Tom Stewart, and my ball is a Wilson Staff Zip with a custom antique mesh pattern. So here's a scorecard for the front. Number 1 is a par 4, 426 yards, a bit of a blind tee shot, so you're not quite sure where you're headed, but fortunately my playing partner, Brad Carando, who found me through the YouTube channel. He's played a lot of golf here at Spring Valley, and we'll get into his story over the course of the round too. So he starts things off. This is off the left side of the fairway a bit. Early spring here in Wisconsin means the rough is pretty thin still. That was my second tee shot after a breakfast ball. I give myself a breakfast ball on the very first shot if I end up hitting it into the road, which is what I did here. So after giving myself a bit of a break, and getting into the fairway, got a nice look at the green here. Using the Louisville Golf Jack White spoon. Advancing into about 185 yards there, leaving me with this mashie into the green. Langford and Moreau designs are known for their dramatic green complexes, and Spring Valley is no exception to that. This course was designed 1 year before Lawsonia, which is their crowning achievement. And Lawsonia made heavy use of bulldozers and steam shovels, as did Spring Valley. You'll see some of those more dramatic green complexes as we go, but they also designed 65 bunkers for this course, none of which have been filled in with sand since day one. The owners didn't want to have sand on the course apparently, so they let grass kind of fill in those areas, and you can still see where the bunkers would be. But if this course ever undergoes a proper restoration, I would imagine they would fill in several of those bunkers, those grass bunkers, with sand. I'm regaling Brad there with a tale from Sewell Memorial, which I played 5 days before this round. This was all part of a Midwest tour I was taking in the spring through Kansas and Wisconsin. And there's a nice tap in for Brad. All right, so moving on to number 2, par 5, 493 yards. Another narrow fairway here. It's going to play even tougher when the rough starts to grow out a little bit more. Again, I was glad Brad was with me because I wasn't quite sure which direction this hole was going when I got up to the tee. So he gave me, unfortunately he went off to the right, but he gave me the right line here. And this shot got a little too close to that tree and actually clipped a branch and took a lot of distance off of it, otherwise it would have put me in real good shape.
That's a very good line. Okay.
Brad finds himself off the right side of the fairway here. This is a real nice shot, I believe with his mashie.
Okay.
That looks pretty good.
Thanks, yeah.
Again, I'm using the Jack White spoon here. Hold that one a little bit, but got it over the ridge. It still gave me a decent look at the green.
Offline, but yeah, it probably will be okay. It depends on where they put the pin.
Here I'm using the Otto Hackbarth 2-iron, Tom Stewart 2-iron that you might remember from Swope Memorial. Was actually broken. I didn't know it yet, so I figured it out after I got back from this trip, but I'm still trying to use it. Here's a good look at some of the hummocks that Langford and Moreau built into their green complexes. That was a bad shot there, but I got lucky, and it ended up settling just on the back side of the green. That could have been real trouble for me. So here I'm using my 44-degree Gibson flanged niblick to pop this back up onto the green and kind of use the dew to my advantage there. It slowed the ball down nice, otherwise that probably would have scooted past in the middle of the day because these greens were getting quicker as we went. And I think maybe in the handshake before the round I gave Brad my short putting woes from Swope Memorial, because he had that problem pretty much all day long.
There we go.
Fortunately, that one
Getting
went
your
in
money's
for me.
worth on that.
So that takes us to number 3, which is the first of 3 par 3s on the front 9 and the first of 5 overall on the course. And the par 3s are where you can really see Langford and Moreau's creative flair for the dramatic. You don't want to be obviously on the left front of that green because you've got a nice uphill approach to get back up onto the green. It's just tough all the way around on the left side and on the back. So Brad and I both kind of bailed out on the right side, pretty much in the only safe spot up there, short of being on the green. And I just wanted to show this shot because Brad wasn't quite sure what to use from the little bit of rough there.
Well, that was very good advice. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, and he ended up using, I suggested he use the mashie like I'm using here with the putting stroke. And his ended up better than mine did. If you want to read more about Langford and Moreau, I definitely recommend you check out Andy Johnson's article about them on Friday Golf. That's where I learned a lot about Langford and Moreau. And he really does go in depth on some of these public courses that you can still play and see some of these really cool features. So number 4 is another par 5, 533 yards, and this one dog legs right. You've got kind of a little valley in between 2 hummocks up there to aim at. And both Brad and I are working on aiming for that spot. Brad ended up off to the right, short of those trees, so he still had an angle. My tee shot here ended up pretty good despite its sweeping trajectory. It put me in a real nice spot where, using the Jack White spoon, I had a nice channel to try to get it through. But of course, this is where the high handicap comes into play. And I ended up pushing this right into the trees, took distance off, and then put me behind that other grove of trees to the right of the hill. So getting a good tour of this hole already. Now this shot here, you had 2 choices here. I could punch through the trees in the bottom, or I could go over them. The riskier play was going over them, but I felt like I could do it. And used my mashie niblick, placed the ball just inside my left foot so it was in the front of my stance, and did exactly what I was trying to do. So that felt good to be able to do that. Now I'm using the mashie from about 140 yards out. This is a tricky green to hit because you've got water in front of you and then to the left. But of course, there's no water over there to the right where I ended up going. Again, summertime when there's leaves on those trees, that's going to be a tough shot where I ended up.
I have some trees to get through, but I'm over the water.
So I'm using the mashie to try to chip this up. And if I would have moved my big head out of the way, you would have seen me just lip that out. It's another one with Brad just burning the edge. Should probably apologize to Brad for giving him my putting woes. No, that one was good. Yeah, another one just lipped out there. But I'm feeling pretty good about where my putter's at today. The greens have started to dry out at this point, and I'm getting used to the pace. So that takes us to number 5, next par 3 on the course, 184 yards. And the trick here is blocking the water out of your mind. And then you've got an elevated tee to navigate up there too, so it plays longer than 184 yards.
Sort of the left edge of that tree line and landed in the middle of the fairway there, you're actually going to get a kick toward the pin.
Okay.
That looks nice.
It's about as well as I can hit that club.
A good distance.
And even though it came short of the green, it did kick up toward the green like Brad said it would.
Exactly.
And I don't mind being short on par 3, especially longer par 3. If I'm in the fairway and I've got a chance to chip up, I'm satisfied with that. You know, I think some guys probably the pride kicks in and you're like, oh, I didn't hit the green in a par 3. But with Hickory clubs, as long as you've kept it straight in front of you and you've got a chance to get up and down like I did here, you're in good shape. I was really happy with that mashie chip there. It left me with a good look for par here. These are the putts that have been giving me trouble. Definitely gave me trouble at Swope Memorial. Fortunately, I'm stroking it better today. Got the par. Was happy with that. So here's the putter I can't quit, even though it's a heartbreaker sometimes. It's my Stewart RTJ model, circa 1930. It's one of the best Hickory finds I've ever had. Found it in an attic find in Omaha, and I'm going to stick with it. So that takes us to number 6, par 4, 368 yards. Shorter par 4 here. A little bit of water here in front. This is one of the few holes that have been modified since 1926.
That's gonna play
Previous
really
owner
nice.
had to fix some drainage issues, and Brad said that he cut that channel into the right in front of the tee box there to let some water run through. Again, I think a restoration would probably address that more appropriate to the original design. Here I'm using my jigger for the first time, and I've been hitting this fat lately. Hit it fat there too, but I'm getting a little more consistent with it. So that left me with this short pitch with the mashie niblick, and I was able to pop that up there. Pretty satisfied with that, even though it ran to the back of the green. And I've got another lag putt here with the Stewart. That one hit a little bit of a bump. I think it would have still come up short, but
I think that little obstacle got you.
Yeah, I would have been a little closer, but I think I still would have ended up below the hole.
this is another one of those knee knockers for me from Swope Memorial. Got that in the back of my mind here. But I got that one to drop. That one felt good. Now we go to number 7, par 3, 155 yards. Last par 3 on the front 9, and this is a real dramatic one here. I'm assuming Langford and Moreau probably used some of the natural terrain here and didn't move as much earth as they normally would have, but they certainly did some modification up there, I think, to kind of create that ridge, and maybe, just enhanced the natural ridge that was already there. This distance for me is a little tricky. I think I'm using my mashie here. This is the ideal distance for my jigger, so I'm trying it off the tee here. And again, ended up hitting a little fat, so it came up short. Brad and I are in a similar position here with an uphill chip. We've got to look at the flag here, though. And if I had just hit that into the top of the ridge before the green, I think it would have popped up nicely because it would have trickled toward the hole there, I think. But as it was, I ended up not too bad still, pin high. There's the slope of that green, though. Definitely want to try to keep it above the hole there. And I've got a tricky uphill putt. Brad did something similar here. He ended up going past the hole. And then, you really got to give that some oomph. Another one where Brad just missed. I like his technique there, though. All right, number 8, par 4, 338 yards, slight dogleg right. This was one of my better tee shots of the day, using the Walter Hagen Splice neck special from Louisville Golf.
It's going to play pretty well.
Nice contact on that.
Really nice. There's that kick. So it's not hurting you so much. The grass will be a little longer there, and it's adding to your distance. But
So taking a closer look at the Splice neck, this is their Walter Hagen special. Walter Hagen and Harry Vardon both used Splice neck drivers past the era of socket necks because they liked their accuracy. They're a little less distance, but they were more accurate. This one's 13 degrees, D4 swing weight, so it suits me really well. Here I was using the mashie out of a little bit of rough. Pretty good shot here, just short of the green. So that set up one of these chip shots with the mashie again, and doing my best to block out the tornado siren test that was going on here. But it might have helped me. That was a pretty good chip.
Thank you.
Here's another legitimate par attempt. Just put that one to the left a little bit. So finally going home, number 9, par 4, 367 yards. This one feels longer. Maybe it's just the way I played it this day, but it felt longer to me. This is not the way you want to start. I got lucky though, and it bounced back, and Brad was gracious, wanted to give me another shot, but I was like, no, I got to take it as it lies. Want to be honest for the viewers. So I'm using the Jack White spoon here just off the tee, trying to get this back into play.
That's going to play beautifully. You're going to catch
a
the
nice
hill.
swing there.
Get down there.
Got it over the ridge, took the hill. Put me in a good position here to use the auto hack barth again, but I'm still stubborn, even though it doesn't feel right.
I heard it. I mean, I can hear
Brad's
it.
noticing it too.
It's really spraying.
There's like a buzz.
Yeah, and it's because the cone inside the hosel cracked. That's what I found out. I talked about that in the Swope Memorial round. So here's the mashie niblick. This is a nice shot. Right up by the pin, but ended up rolling back to the back of the green. It's a good opportunity to do a public service announcement for Friday Fish Fries in Wisconsin. If you've never had one, do yourself a favor. Lots of places have them, but definitely find like a small tavern that advertises it. Those places are the best in my opinion. Potato pancakes, perch if you can find it. It's great. So I mentioned at the beginning of this round, I'd tell you a little bit about Brad's story here. Brad learned how to play golf at Spring Valley when he was a kid. So there's a lot of nostalgic connection for him playing here. And he knows the ins and outs of this place really well. So he was obviously the ideal person to play a first round with here as I try to wrap up this front 9. But join us on the back. In the meantime, make sure you check out my previous course vlog at Swope Memorial in the upper right, and in the lower right, I have a video on repairing wooden shafts, which I had to do with my auto hack barth Tom Stewart after this round. And of course, make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed what you saw. Thanks.